transpires out to the pitch, and I'm very excited to see them working together on the pitch. But we hadn't had much time to do that so far.
Mark at the back.
Hi, Jonas. You spoke there quite passionately about European football and where the WSL sits within there. Obviously, within the women's game, it is Champions League or bust almost. Do you think there is a growing need for a separate, like almost a women's Europa League competition? Do you think that would help develop the game across Europe?
Yes and no. Yes, because it's a really nice opportunity for growth to come out and to compete internationally. We have seen that the last 2 seasons here at Arsenal. It has given us so much. But no, because also when we look at the Champions League from an economic perspective, I don't think that is too much of a winning affair for the clubs that are a part of that. And I don't really see, if you can't get Champions League to work on a lucrative economic model, why would it work to have a second competition? If you would take the comparison in the men's games, that's very much how that one works, where the Champions League is the tournament that makes the most revenues, and then it goes down in a descending order on the levels of the competitions. So I think the Champions League for women need to start first getting their finances and their financial model right, and from there on, once we get that one right, then you can start expanding with more competitions. But I can't see the financial sustainability in adding another European competition right now for the teams that's going to compete in that.
Thanks, Mark. We'll come to the call now, guys. We're a bit pushed for time, so if we could keep it to just the one each for those of you dialing in. And Tim, if you'd like to begin for us.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Jonas. In the Liverpool and Villa games, obviously they had game plans to really clog up the middle of the pitch, which I think Bristol will probably do too. A lot of crosses in both those games. I think there were 50 against Villa, and I wondered whether that was more than you would have liked, and whether perhaps the disruption at centre-half over the last year or so, and how that's impacting how Arsenal build up centrally, or whether you're happy with that kind of volume of crosses.
I think first off, and this is hard when we start having stats in football, is to define what is a cross. Because what is a pass, it's easy to define, but what is a cross? What is the definition of a cross? That wasn't actually a rhetorical question, Tim. That was an actual question. Because, I don't know.
I think FB Ref have it as something like within 20 yards of the width of the goal. There is a precise measurement that they come up with.
Yeah, exactly. So that can be both a ball that is being played with no pressure on the grass, for example, or it can be a ball that is played under pressure in the air with a lot of speculation onto it. And I think that's where I differentiate a lot when I look at it. Opportunistic crosses, with us not being in the right positions, not doing it from the right moments and so on, I don't like them at all. It just makes the game transitional. It makes the game with less control for us. For us playing in balls from that area that you defined, with us in good positions and with us with a clear plan on how we attack those spaces, of course I like them a lot. So given now looking at both Liverpool and Aston Villa, we had both of those situations in the game. Did we have too many of those opportunistic crosses? Yes, we did. We need to have fewer of them. Did we have some really good situations of when we should cross the ball in those situations? We also did that. So that's where the development needs to go at. I think when you have teams that defend so compact in the middle, that both Liverpool and Aston Villa did, of course it's not a coincidence that a lot of the chance creation is going to come from the sides. That's just how football goes. But if you're better with your chance creation from the sides, then they will need to start committing more players there, which is going to open up the central of the pitch, and now you can go from there on. And that has been the fact in both the Liverpool game and the Aston Villa game, that I think our chance creations from these wide zones have not been good enough, so we haven't committed enough players out there to now start to create space on on other areas of the pitch.
Thanks, Joonas. Speak Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Tom from the Telegraph.
Good morning, Joonas. Could I just please follow up on one thing you were talking about with the Champions League there? Do you think it's right that at the moment there's a lot of protection for the kind of the champions of the domestic leagues around Europe in terms of they have their own pathway to qualify, and it makes it harder for the runners-up and the third-place sides? Do you think that's the right way to go, or are you of the opinion that we should have a format where everyone is in the qualifying system all together and it's a random drawing? Who gets who?
I think there are so many different interests in this. I mean, if I look at it from the Arsenal's perspective, in being WSL is a very competitive league, do I think there is a lot of teams in the WSL that could compete in the group stage in the Champions League? I do. I think the Conti Cup group that United get drawn into now might be tougher than some of the Champions League groups from a sporting quality for it. So of course that. But then those who decide on the UEFA Women's Champions League, they need not only to take England and Arsenal's opinion into account, they need to grow the whole women's football in Europe to do that. And that means that why would you invest in your league team in another European country if it would be impossible to reach, for example, the Champions League group stage? But to having that possibility might lead to that club investing a lot of money and resources into that team. And that's also going to be really important for women's football in Europe. So I think the balance on how you do that is to start growing the Champions League for women with more teams. So you still have a good pathway for champions in Europe. So you're still being able to do that. But you also get more opportunities for the league path, for the strongest leagues in Europe, to have more teams that can qualify for the group stage. I think that combination is going to give the best sporting format where women's football is at currently. And that's why I also don't like the idea of adding a second competition to it. I think expand Champions League first, and then get that right, and from there on we can move and hopefully have a second competition in the future.
Thank you, it's really interesting. Thank you, Joonas.
Thanks, Tom. Really tight for time now, but we'll come to Emma from the BBC.
Thanks. I'm just still getting over that disrespect that happened there, Joonas, but we'll move on. I just wondered how, with all the players that have obviously been injured, there seems to have kind of been a strong camaraderie developed between them. I wonder if that's a bit of a positive to take from all the long-term injuries, that maybe the togetherness of the squad has improved.
I think whole last season was a common theme, how we improved on togetherness, both on the pitch and off the pitch. And sometimes what adversity does to you as a human, as a group, is that you grow stronger, and that is clearly what has happened. The thing is that we need to be able to grow that even in good conditions, and that's sometimes the secret to teams that can develop into really strong teams. So hopefully we can have much less adversity from an injury perspective this season, but we can still continue to grow the togetherness as a team.
Thanks, Joonas.
Thanks, Emma. Asif?
Hi, Joonas. Just a quick one on Viv. She said last month in a column that she wanted to play some reserve team matches before she returns to first team action to get some rhythm and see how her knee reacts. Could you just confirm if she's gone through that stuff? Yeah,
well, we have done, and this is not ideal for it, but this also shows how much of investment we still need to do. So we play our home matches on a 3G turf with our under 21s, and of course that's not ideal for Viv to go on to play on that turf, which makes it really complicated. Something that looks really good on paper, that she can start playing with the reserves, now becomes really complicated in reality because of that we don't play on natural grass pitches. So what we have done instead is that we played internal games, and we have referees coming here to London Colony and helping us doing that midweek, and we've been doing that consistently during this block. That's been really important for the whole team, but also for Viv, that she can be integrated into something that reminds a bit more like a competitive game, but just behind closed doors.
Thanks, Shane. That's great.
Thanks, Asif. And last one from yourself, Arwen.
Just a quick one from me. This is the last game for you before an international break, so it's quite difficult to build up a run of form. So would you say that this significantly disrupts your season?
No, it's it is what it is with international breaks. It means that the game on Sunday is really important. I think when you look at building up momentum, I think we have been playing better and better and better this block. Each game has been an improvement. If we can continue to do that, if we can play better now against Bristol again, I'm very optimistic about the game, but that's within our control to do that first.